Welcome, partners. I'm Kyle DeWitt, Vice President of Technical Services for ScanSource, and I'm glad you've joined us today for a new series of content we're putting together on returning to office. As our industries begin this transition to what internally we're calling the next normal, our customers are looking to us to help them navigate the technology challenges associating with getting back into the office. This is a series, like I said, we've done on multiple industries. Today, we're bringing you a panel discussion specifically focused on returning to the office, think enterprise, and today with an eye on the mobility elements of returning to office. So joining me on the panel today, I have a few experts from our suppliers, Zebra, AudioCodes, and Jabra, to discuss the trends that they're seeing in this space. So thank you three for joining me. I'll do real quick introductions and then I'll let our panelists here get into some detail. So first, joining us from AudioCodes, we have Scott Middlebrooks, who is the Sales Solution Consultant. From Jabra, we have Cecile Enghof, who is the Manager of Regional Product Marketing. And then representing Zebra, we have Carl Callan, who is the Strategic Business Development Senior Advisor for their solution segment here in North America. So we'll go through same order. Scott, why don't you lead us off? Tell us a little bit about your role with AudioCodes and what AudioCodes is doing to help its partners and their customers get back into the office.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having us here today, Kyle. As Kyle said, my name is Scott Middlebrooks. I'm a sales solution architect at AudioCodes. I joined AudioCodes in January, but I've been an AudioCodes fanboy for over a decade now. I've been working with AudioCodes products in the Microsoft ecosystem, like I said, for over a decade. So dating back to LCS, OCS, trace that through all of its different names and iterations. As far as the kind of return to office, and the office in general, AudioCodes has a full portfolio of services. So we're interested in all of the, everything from soup to nuts, enabling direct routing as it comes to Microsoft Teams. That's my area of expertise. That's my specialty. So we're interested in all of everything having to do with the office place, and also the remote workers, the mobile workers. For a lot of us, and I'm one included, this working from home is my normal. So that's we enable that no matter where you are. So return to office, stay at home. We got you covered.
Yeah, I had a conversation with a family member not too long ago. We were all meeting together over Zoom, and how long have you been working from home? And how long have you been working from home? My brother said 7 years, and we all went like, oh yeah, this is not new to some people. This is their normal. So I appreciate that intro. All right, Cecile Enghof from Jabra, why don't you tell us a little bit about your role there, and likewise what Jabra is doing to help its partners get back into the office.
Thank you, Carl. So I am Cecile Enghof. I am Product Marketing Manager here at Jabra. I'm responsible as part of the product marketing team for ensuring that we know the latest trends, what's going on in the market, such as the return to the office, the mobility trends and everything, both for businesses as well as end users. And what we use that knowledge about the trends and the needs of the users for is essentially to develop the right solutions, the right technologies to serve those needs that are present in the marketplace. And of course, it's been very dynamic over the recent months, and we've kept a close eye and talked to a lot of customers to really understand where they're heading and in which direction. And it's, of course, very challenging times for everyone to stay productive, no matter whether it's from home, for an office, or on the go. That's a huge challenge for everyone. And we in Jabra we've been in this space for quite some time. We've been very successful together with our partners within this market for quite some years now. We actually have 60% market share in the wireless task-based space when it comes to headsets. Together with our partners, we've been able to achieve this success in serving over 40,000 customers globally. So we are happy that we've actually been on this journey for quite some time. It's not news to us that you need to be able to work from anywhere in order to be productive.
It's all thanks to the millennial workforce, right? As they come into the office, they expect that kind of consumer experience. If it's untethered, right? The untethered experience, work from anywhere. All right, thank you. And last but not least, we have Carl from Zebra. Carl, why don't you give us the introduction into your role, and then likewise what Zebra's doing for their partners.
Sure. Yeah. It's a pleasure to be on the panel today. Appreciate the invitation. So I look after our portfolio of intelligent edge solutions. These are visibility enhancing solutions, leveraging technologies like passive and active RFID, also communication solutions. And as RPM, I'm responsible of the go-to-market, taking our of these solutions to market, to our customers, to our partners. And yeah, we're currently working really hard here as we are going through the waves of the pandemic. At one point, almost a full standstill in terms of office enablement, and now a trickle and a return, and hopefully the floodgates should open. We're going through quite a significant change in society and also in the norms of how workplace is going to look like. So exciting times. What Zebra is doing right now is enabling our enterprises or our enterprise customers to have their work forces go back to work with a number of solutions. We have console-based and also a lot of cloud-based solutions, but one in particular, maybe I'll talk about it a little bit later on, which is called MotionWorks Proximity, is something that we hope is going to help many customers bring their consumers, actually their workers, back into the office.
All right, thank you. Again, thank you to the three of you for joining. I know our partners are very interested in hearing some other views on what's happening around the industry. So we'll go through and some kind of targeted questions here. Scott, we'll start with you, although I just said it was a targeted question. It's a fairly generic question, but you're a solution consultant. My day job at ScanSource is managing pre and post sale support engineers. We have solution architects that play a very similar role to you, which is leading discovery with end customers and trying to determine what business outcomes they're trying to accomplish. And right now, that's exposing a lot of different challenges, right? So that's the name of the game. It's not necessarily efficiency, although that's important, but we're finding that now is the time to try to solving challenges. So what are you running across as you're talking to AudioCodes partners and their customers that you would consider to be the trending challenges or greatest challenges right now for getting back into the office?
Yeah, it's a really kind of good question as far as thinking about not only significant challenge, but as it pertains to coming back to the office. And especially as here in the U.S., we're seeing another kind of surge in COVID-19 cases. So I see that it's not a singular significant challenge. I see two of them, and two of them that customers are echoing, maybe not as clearly as these two fine points, but one is it's kind of psychological, is just the fear factor of returning to the office. So how do we as technologists, as solutions consultants, as vendors, what can we do to help allay or overcome that fear? So think about how do you clean devices? How do you make solutions? The trend in office spaces prior to pre-pandemic was open office spaces, very open, very open office, low walls, shared desks, hoteling. So how do you keep those things clean? How do you share devices like IP phones, conference room devices? How do you keep those things clean? So that's one thing that's both a psychological and then just a kind of a strategic or tactical thing that organizations are going to have to work through. And then the other one is more of a technology enablement type of solution, which we're taking advantage of as remote workers now. And it's how do we continue to collaborate as team members, not to be confused with Microsoft Teams, but as communities of collaborators within organizations. So I've got some people working in the office, some people working at home. How do I continue to collaborate? And just like we're doing on this call here, where I can see each one of you, I can see body language, I can see intent without having to rely on just spoken words. So we see video as a significant part of that, and collaboration bars powered by, again, my baby, Microsoft Teams. where you can walk into, and Carl, you mentioned this earlier. I'd be curious to hear how you guys might work with proximity kind of detection, where it's a contactless type of solution. So I think those are kind of the significant challenges that we're looking to solve for.
Yeah, that's you're a great straight man, and we didn't set you up for this, but you're hitting all the right things: contactless, collaboration, the video engagement in collaboration. Again, video is not new. I have teenage children. They don't text their friends. They send pictures. They send snaps. They do TikTok. Like every form of communication right now has a video element to it. And in the enterprise space, we're really seeing a push to adopt contactless collaboration. Walk into a room and have the call start on its own. The lights come on. There's the proximity elements. There's people counting. There's all of those things that are being rolled out.
That was something that I saw at previous conferences pre-pandemic. It was like, oh, gee, that's a neat thing. But now it's like, wow, we really want that. That's something we really need.
Yeah, for sure. And Cecile, so we'll come to you because you're next on my list, but also because Scott was great in setting you up for adding on to this. But our businesses are adopting right now. Most of them are adopting some form of hybrid model. Some back into the office, some remote work. Again, not new. We've had remote workers as businesses. When we try to find top talent, it really shouldn't matter where that talent is. They can contribute effectively from anywhere. And so we're now starting to see the traditional office workers adopting hybrid models, but also at the same time trying to social distance. And I'm glad Scott brought up the open workspace. He was this close to saying huddle rooms, which I know you're near and dear to you, as we try to roll out the best ways to collaborate in an office environment. But why don't you tell us a little bit about how you guys are helping partners to support that hybrid role, and where the technology investments are best made in trying to get some people back into the physical brick and mortar building.
Right. Well, yeah, definitely. Can only continue the great lead up that Scott had. Totally agree that what we talk to our customers today about returning to the office does have very much to do with how they potentially are going to make use out of their offices in the best possible way. And we have, of course, been within this space for quite some time, helping companies make work not a place you go to, but simply defining what you do. And that's absolutely key in this transition, right? Ensuring that they have the right devices, that they're in their hands to make sure that they can be flexible and work from anywhere. So it's very important that the solutions are tailored specifically to the needs that they have now that they go back to the office. They need to keep the social distancing, and companies as well as end users need to make sure that those are complied with, right, on a constant basis when they return to the office. And no matter where they are, whether they're at home, whether they're on the go, or whether they're in the office, they need to be able to be productive. When we talk about social distancing specifically and the huddle room, as you allude to, Kyle, of course, it's important that you can now make use out of these relatively small meeting rooms where before you were maybe able to accommodate 5 or 6 people. Now you might not be able to get as many people in because you need to have 6 feet between anyone. So maybe there's only now room for 3 in that meeting room. But when it comes to then having a great collaboration environment, making sure that you can use video as an enabler to keep these distributed teams together and make them able to collaborate, you need a video device that allows you to show all those 3 people that are in the meeting room in a very natural way, so you can have natural discussions and conversations to solve the complex tasks at hand. And it's absolutely key to keep these to keep social distancing, making sure that you can cover the entire meeting room and still have everyone be part of that meeting, really.
Yeah, and I don't know how you guys found it. I know, Scott, you're working from home. I don't know how the other 2 of you prior to quarantine and pandemic, how you worked, but we found it was maybe awkward is the right word, awkward for the traditional enterprise office worker to participate in a video call. And now anybody you call, on Teams or whatever, you start by calling them on video. You don't start by, I don't at least start by sending them a message going, hey, can you chat? I already know if they can talk because I can see their presence. I know they're online. I know they're available, and I just hit the video button and call them. But to your point, Cecile, this is now a one-to-one. We're all sitting in front of our own personal cameras, our own personal microphones, our own personal monitors. The technology is very easy right now. It's not having to get a room full of people and still try to provide a true engaged conversation when you have 5 or 6 or 12 people around a table and a single camera. So yeah, for sure, this is as the large rooms get less occupied, it's going to be even more challenging for sure to have that collaborative experience. Okay, Carl, we'll come to you. I know Scott's sitting on pins and needles here waiting for you to geek out on some technology here, but we know mobility is a key focus for Zebra. Has been for a long time. We've been longtime partners with you guys. So what are you seeing as far as trends right now in that space that you're running across?
I can echo what the other panelists have been saying. I mean, of course, this whole element of having home workers makes a lot of sense. Of course, we deliver frontline worker equipment or frontline edge products, as we call them, our mobile computers and printers, as well as scanners is the core, right? And then, of course, what we're seeing also in this new world of being able to bring these employees back into the office space. We've spoken about, a little bit about the distancing required, and we've thought about that. We have within Zebra, probably a well-kept secret, also a significant portfolio of Bluetooth and also other location solution hardware. So back in April, we've been kind of looking at how do we handle this pandemic? How can we help out our customers? And over the last maybe 3 months or so, we've been working at record speed really to leverage our Bluetooth capabilities with something that we called MotionWorks Proximity. I'll just briefly mention what that does. It first of all, it does contact tracing, right? So it can do event capturing. So if 2 Bluetooth beacons are too close to each other, it triggers an alert. If there's a specific time that we set there, maybe 5 minutes, which is the CDC guideline, that can then trigger a manager to ask for the people to separate. We also have certain devices that have certain haptic alerts or sound alerts. And then we also do eliminate a lot of the detective work. Let's say we find a case of COVID in that office. We're able to then say, well, this person has had a couple of proximity events over the last couple of weeks, right? So that's the kind of solution that we're bringing to market right now with a lot of interest. Maybe primarily for certain warehouse spaces, distribution centers, but also certain office companies, insurance companies have approached us. So I think it's an interesting time ahead. We don't know where the next pandemic might hit, how long this is going to be with us, etc. But it's good to see that pragmatically we're trying to solve it, leveraging what we have in the portfolio.
Yeah, it hit me this morning. We need to do another one of these with a focus on entertainment, because I don't know how the entertainment industry survives the next 6 months, right? I mean, you think about going to movie theaters, you think about going to a concert or whatever. People are on top of each other all the time, and
that's right.
There's a reason you're packing that many people in. So yeah, this social distancing, providing alerts to people when they've been in a room too long, or even just triggering the sanitation, call back to some of the comments that were made earlier, to come in and clean the room because we just had a 2-hour meeting with 12 people in it. Those are all really important new adoptions of the technology that we're all in. I'll come back to you, Carl, 100%. Just to see if I'm doing another thought leadership piece later on in the week on IoT. So it's all real fresh right now, beacons and sensors and all,
Sure.
geeking out on that kind of stuff. But
Love to geek out about that.
yeah, so that's a technology that I don't find that people know to ask for. It's usually the solution to a problem. So as you're uncovering opportunities through your channel for some of your Bluetooth sensors, are your customers and your partners, do they know that technology exists? Are they coming looking for those solutions, or are you making the recommendations to them that fits the need?
It's a mixed bag, right? So initially, this had to be done in a very kind of limited fashion. We reached out to certain customers that we saw a specific need. We did some ROI calculations on this as well. I mean, some car manufacturers, just to give you an example, they run plants, and for every day that they're in lockdown or shutdown, they're losing, I think, according to Volkswagen, $2.2 million per plant, and that's a lot of money, right? So we kind of looked at those to see if we could help out, and then we broadened the scope a little bit. We're also working with partners that are deploying their own solutions with some of the hardware that we make available. So there's plenty of opportunities out there for some clever solutions to help, right?
Yeah. How about you, Scott? Are you seeing any unique requests coming in for problems that we need to have technology solutions available to solve?
I would say some unique requests, certainly. I've had a couple of people who are actually taking advantage of the work from home and have said, hey, can we take this as an opportunity to forklift our existing assets, since nobody's in the office? Yep. And perhaps we want to undertake a transformation project. That could we do that much easier now than we could have before? And I thought that was really a brilliant insight, and said, yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that we're doing here at Audio Codes is flexibility around how you choose to acquire your assets. Whether it's a traditional CapEx purchase, you pay it all up front, or maybe an OpEx, or even subscription-based pricing. All of our products, services are available in any of those models, so it allows you to be flexible and whether in your cash flow, which is very important to businesses right now.
Yep. All right, Cecile, I'll pose the same one to you. And what types of unique challenges are you guys running across, maybe that are relevant just to this time and space?
Well, I think what you brought up earlier regarding contactless is definitely something that we hear a lot, and being able to track how many people potentially there are in a rooms to make sure that you social distance and everything. So finding technologies to really solve these social distancing challenges that we know that businesses will have maybe for a year or even more is something that is absolutely key to solve, and that we're really looking into with our solutions on both the video and the audio side to come up with intelligent solutions for that.
Yeah, I think timely selling is the key here. We, just selfishly trying to create continuity between other panelists, but it comes up. It seems to come up every time, right? We're not trying to prey on opportunistic selling. This is timely selling. That's Cecile. That's exactly what we're seeing is people are wanting not only to make technology investments now, regardless of how you pay for it, Scott. We want to ensure that there's an ROI on it, and that we're not just trying to solve a problem for July 2020, but something that can carry us through another year, give us that ROI, protect our investment. So those are all great points. So Carl, I'll come back to you. We'll go round table here again as we wrap up. But I kind of asked a leading question there on, are your partners asking for, or are you bringing the solutions to them? But as you engage these partners, right now, what's the best piece of advice you can give them as they try to help their customers make these investments, get back into the office, choose the right solutions, et cetera?
First of all, a great thank you to our partners for sticking with it. Right now, it's been a very tough not 6 months yet, but 4.5 months here of exceptional circumstance, and I know that everybody's working really hard on getting their business into some type of a new pivot, right? So I think being very dynamic, being very fleet-footed, being very close to your customer and understanding needs, understanding the ROI, understanding what the investment decisions are, and what priorities are out there. Super important. The partners we work with are very capable. So there's no doubt in my mind that we're going to come out of this stronger. Again, just an obsessive focus on the customer and solving their problems, right? I think that's just the guiding force that we should all have, and many of us are certainly employing that agility, I'm sure.
Yep. Scott, how about you? Best advice.
I like the way that Carl put it as far as, being dynamic, being fleet-footed. COVID-19 caught a lot of businesses kind of off guard, and their hands are being forced as far as they work remotely, work from anywhere type of environment. So these weren't necessarily budgeted events. So having empathy and being compassionate, finding flexible ways to protect investments, to work with, what can we do? How can we enable what needs to be done to power the business without breaking the bank? So that's, that, and then acknowledging that this isn't going to go away with a flip of a switch. This isn't going to be an overnight thing. And now that a lot of workers have had the opportunity to work from home, there may be a shift as we come out of COVID-19 into a more remote work type of workforce. So I think that's something that we need to be prepared for as well.
All right, Cecile, you're bringing us home here. So in your role, you're marketing to customers, right? So and by customers, I mean our mutual partners, and you guys do some consumer marketing as well. But what kind of advice are you passing along to them in those campaigns?
Well, I can only agree with my peers here. All the points I very much agree with. Maybe to add another perspective to that as well, to give a good advice would be to make sure that you align with vendor solutions that make it easy to sell and be profitable also during these challenging times, which we know can be challenging. And one of the benefits, for instance, with working with Jabra is that our partner ecosystem has no specific requirements in terms of revenue or certification. So as this IT landscape evolves and changes, partnering with vendors that actually can provide additional revenue stream could be a great win for our partners and resellers.
Okay, great. Yeah, now I'm going to do a little quick callback on something Carl said too, was a lot of times our mutual customers, the end customer, they don't know what questions to ask. And so my advice to our partners is, listen, when you meet with your customers, listen to what they're faced with, listen to what their challenges are, and don't go in just trying to pitch the newest, greatest technology. Right now, I think Scott, you mentioned the word budget, which I'm glad you broke spades on that and brought it up, because we're entering, late summer, early fall, as education starts back up, as people are looking towards the final 2 fiscal quarters of a calendar year. There's a lot of fear and uncertainty out there on how businesses are going to operate, and the last thing they need is somebody in there trying to take advantage of opportunistic selling and pushing solutions on people that they don't necessarily need. So I really appreciate you guys and your insight. Thank you again for joining us on the panel today. This is usually where I do the selfish plug that I started with, which is we do have at ScanSource a group of pre-sales engineers and solution architects that represent all of these brands and can help our partners, our audience today, in helping determine what the right solutions are for your customers, representing Jabra and AudioCodes, Zebra, and others. So please feel free to contact us, and we will do our best to help you navigate the challenges ahead of us. Lots more information on this return to office series of content we're putting together on our website. feel free to check that out. Give us a call. And again, as I sign off, again, I'll say thank you, Cecile, Scott, and Carl for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Pleasure.
Thank you so much.